In a bedroom, shows Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks as husband and wife tucking in their children, John Belushi and Gilda Radner, into bed. Hartman: all right, kids, don't let the bed bugs bite. Hooks: and if they do, chop them in two. Hartman: and make mulligan stew. Darn tootin'. Radner: guys, can you just call pest control? I can't control if the bed bugs bite while I'm sleeping. Hooks: honey, we told you before. Your father bet all of our money on the Rams -4, and they only won by 3. No pest control. Good night. Hartman: don't worry, children. I robbed our elderly neighbor and put 5,000 on the Vikings -6, so we should be back on our feet in no time. Good night, and remember, you can only be attracted to one sex at a time. And if you must deviate from that, make it bisexual. Remember, in this house, everyone is either male or female. Hartman and Hooks leave the room and shut the door. Belushi sighs. Radner: what is it, Michael? Belushi: I don't know. Sometimes I just wish Dad would let us be sexually attracted to all biological sexes, genders, and gender identities. Chris Farley, dressed as Peter Pan, comes crashing through the window and falls onto the floor unconscious, covered in shards of glass. Belushi: oh my God, is that the sexual predator who lives across town that Mom warned us about? As Radner and Belushi get out of bed to inspect Farley, Radner says, no, the predator gave me a bunch of candy a couple weeks ago. And for the record, nothing else happened. He just watched me eat hot dog-shaped candy. I think he's just misunderstood. Besides, he's a lot skinnier than this guy. Farley comes to, stands up and says, hey, kids, my name's Peter PanSexual. I help kids realize that they can be sexually attracted to all biological sexes, genders, and gender identities. I'm looking for my cis male shadow. Have you seen it? Belushi: it'd be hard to miss your shadow. Farley: you're cute. A flashing light appears on the dresser. Radner: what's that? Farley: oh, that's my queer fairy friend, Tinkerbell. Shows Denitra Vance standing on the dresser in S&M-style Tinkerbell outfit, who says, yo, Pete, these children gonna come fuck with us or what? Farley: well, let me see, Tinkerbell. Farley waves a pair of keys in his hand and says, hey, kids, I stole the key to Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Do you two want to come with me and Tink to the ranch and explore your pansexuality? Belushi: hell yeah, we do. Cuts to Farley, Vance, Belushi, and Radner passing around a joint while sitting on the Neverland Ranch's merry-go-round. Farley: and then the beautiful woman took off her pants and took out her giant penis. From that moment forward, I was pansexual. Belushi: wow, a chick with a dick. Radner: Mr. Pansexual, sir? Farley: yeah, Wendy? Radner: I haven't hit puberty yet, but I'm not attracted to anyone. Vance: what's with this bitch? Get her some Molly or something, shit. Radner: what? Farley: Tink is just saying, sweetie, that maybe if you took some MDMA, you might open up your sexuality. Maybe even become pansexual like us. Norm MacDonald, dressed as a pirate, approaches the foursome. MacDonald: there you are, Pete, you know. I finally found you. Belushi: who's that? Farley: oh, he's just the mentally unstable groundskeeper here. who always tries to get me to leave the ranch. Do you have your hook with you, Jimmy? McDonald raises his hand, holding the hook, and says, I sure do. Now, I told you once, Pete. I've told you 1,000 times. You're just bisexual. Farley. Nuh-uh, you don't get it, Grandpa. Bisexuals only want to screw men and women. I want to screw men, women, and non-binaries. McDonald. Why, that kind of talk is balderdash, you know? How do you think Michael Jackson, God rest his soul, would have been able to build this place if he was pansexual? No way, I tell you, he wouldn't have been able to do it. You're only hurting yourself. Farley. What exactly are you afraid of anyway? Have you ever even been with someone who's non-binary? McDonald. Well, the thing is, back in '62, I was a young farmhand on an all-homosexual bunny ranch. We were basically a bunch of male prostitutes who worked on the farm to stay in shape until some old tycoon or whatever would come in for poon, And one day a gentleman, some guy who was big in the talking pictures business, he came in and ordered me from my pimp for a sexual rendezvous. And this gentleman took off his pants, but I could tell something wasn't right. He seemed like he was in another place entirely. His eyes had a faraway gaze. And since he was gay, it was a gay gaze. And as soon as I began to start jacking him off, the man removed my hand, pulled out a knife, and cut his dick off. And he got blood all over me. I, of course, was used to being covered with cum, but never with blood. Farley. What the hell was the point of telling us that story? McDonald. Why, the point of that story was, dead from the earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Not Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Denitra Vance, and many other special deceased contributors, musical guest, Muddy Waters, and your host, Kobe Bryant. Everybody, Kobe Bryant. Applause, applause, applause. Bryant. Thank you, thank you. I'm told I'm the first person to host both the show and the show within the show. So I'm the first to host more than once. So Mike, you might have one more ring than me, but you're never catching me when it comes to hosting this show. Chris Farley comes out and says, Hey, Kobe. Bryant. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Farley. Well, the producer wanted me to give you a memento for being the first multi-hoster. Farley holds up in his hand a damaged toy helicopter. Bryant. Are you kidding? Farley. Actually, I am. Thanks for not decking me. We actually got you this. Farley gives Bryant a black leather jacket that says Mamba 24 in white letters. Bryant puts the jacket on and says, Thanks, Chris. Anyway, I came into the NBA straight out of high school. My hero was Michael Jordan. I wanted to be just like him. In some ways, I would have liked to start my career on a team where I could have taken 20 shots a game. But instead, I started my career on the same team with one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball, Shaquille O'Neal. And together we won 3 straight championships. I was so focused on being the best I could be and winning as much as I could that at the time, I didn't always appreciate the honor it was to be part of the greatest duo in NBA history. And it truly was an honor that now I appreciate with all my heart. Shows Chris Farley sniffling while standing next to Bryant. Bryant, after Shaq was traded, I finally got the chance to prove I could do it on my own. In the 2005 season, I averaged over 35 points a game and had 81 points in a single game, second most of all time. And after losing in the finals in 2008 to the Celtics during my MVP season, and I should have had a few more of those, by the way, the next season we won the NBA championship. And the season after that, we won again, avenging our loss to the Celtics by beating them in 7 games. Farley, woohoo! Bryant. But what I'm most proud of in regards to my career, as well as my entire life, is that I gave it everything I had. I worked my ass off all the time and was never satisfied and never let myself feel comfortable. I may have died young, but no one can deny that I gave it everything I had in the 41 years I lived. And I made the very most of it I could, where I lived an incredible and amazingly successful life. Farley begins to hug Bryant. Applause, applause, applause. Bryant, we got a great show tonight. Muddy Waters is here. So, baby, please don't go. We'll be right back.